Are you still struggling with your self-worth and confidence after trauma?
Welcome to Cave 623.
Maybe you're wanting to get in a relationship again, or maybe you're still at that point where you're feeling like there's no way I can even attempt a relationship because I don't even feel good in myself. I just need to get myself back. That's what we want to talk about today. So
when we're having that battle in our head about, hey, can I get back to myself? What is myself? We might not know what that is because we've been in a relationship in the past that's maybe took us a long ways away from who we really are. And so you're at this point now where you're like, okay, I want to get back into a relationship, but I also don't want to self-sabotage or sabotage the relationship because of my confidence being low. Or me not knowing who I am anymore because I've kind of lost my identity in that last relationship. So this is a very important concept when it comes to knowing what you truly want in a relationship and what you're wanting for yourself, and what as you're moving into one, making sure you're confident. So.
And I think the place to start is just by taking a moment to reconnect with yourself. I mean, that sounds so simple, but it really isn't. Like Ty was saying, sometimes you've been led so astray from yourself, or maybe every time you tried to be yourself, you got attacked, So now when you try to do something, it feels scary. You try to show up as yourself, you feel vulnerable, you feel not confident, you just kind of shut down, right? And so those are the things, that's where we want to start, right? When you've had any type of trauma, those feelings can be overwhelming. And so what would you say, Ty, as one thing they can do, to start feeling confident in themselves every day?
That's a good question. I think listening to the right voice. So you're going to have multiple voices in your head when it comes to, trying to gain your confidence back. And then you're actually at this stage now where you're going to seek out a relationship, and there might be voices coming in like, hey, you're ready for this. I think you want to do this. But then there's another voice in your head, hey, you don't want to do this right now. You saw what the last one was like. Like, are you kidding me? So there might be a lot of voices that are going on in your head. So you're like, okay, which one do I listen to? Because I got a lot of voices going on, and they're all not necessarily on the same page. And I think that's normal. And I hope that if any of you are experiencing this, you recognize that's very normal. It's just your mind trying to sort it out, and your heart also trying to sort it out. And sometimes there's a battle between the two, because your heart needs the companionship, wants the companionship, wants the love and safety that can come from a relationship, but your mind has gone through the trauma and remembers how broken your heart was in the last relationship. So your mind is kind of like, whoa, put the brakes on this thing, man. You don't want to be doing this, but your heart knows it needs that. It's seeking, it's wanting that relief from the loneliness that you're going through. And so I think when you're going through this, it can be very tough but I just want you to know it's normal. It's not abnormal to have two voices going on in your head saying, hey, don't do it. And the other voice saying, but I really want to, so.
Yeah, I heard that this question posed in a different way today. How do you know what the difference is between kind of your trauma brain or your ego talking versus your intuition talking? Sometimes it's really hard to discern which voice is which, right? Because your ego's working really hard to protect you, but your intuition, your heart, is trying to guide you into what you really want. So sometimes it can be confusing to know what the difference is. But I think one of the biggest things you can do for starters is to just focus on you, not anybody else. Be your own muse. Fall in love with yourself again. Treat yourself. Do things for yourself. Take a few minutes to rest. Take a few extra minutes in the mirror to, pamper yourself. Make yourself look whatever makes sense to you, what looks good to you. Not what you think looks good for other people, but what you want your personal style to be. Take a minute to just connect with yourself every day. Pause. What do I want in this moment? Are my actions in this moment being fueled by what I think everybody else wants me to do, or expectations of me, or what that ideal person would want me to be doing right now? Or am I going to honor myself right now and say, you know what, I've just worked frickin' 10 hours. I'm going to sit down for a second, and that's okay. I just, what I want to do right now is just, have my favorite beverage on the patio, whatever it is, be your own muse, get back to yourself and putting yourself first, your needs first, your self-love and self-care first.
Yeah, I hear that. And it's funny you keep saying the word muse when I think of the band, because
it's funny you're wearing a shirt.
It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite bands. So I was like, is she just reading them? She might just be reading this. And anyway, but yeah, I mean, Muse is definitely a great band. A lot of fun, and I've loved listening to them throughout the years. I even got to go to one of their concerts, which was super cool. Not to get distracted from the topic here, but that's kind of what that was reminding me of. Anyway. But so yeah, when I hear what she's saying though, as far as like developing your character again, from and kind of moving away from the past, learning to leave it where it lies. I think Kara really helped me with that, of, hey, let's don't dig up old bones. I think that's a very wise practice, is to leave things where they are, so that you actually can say thank you for the lessons you've taught me, and move your life forward, and move it with your character, your spirit, your soul, what matters to you. And that's going to be super, super important. I know I was heavily trauma lensed. Like, I was looking at my life through a trauma lens. I was trying to live life with Carrot through a trauma lens, and it just wasn't working. And our listening to podcasts and trying to grow and move ourselves forward, something that we discussed over and over again, whether it be through fights or just through good discussion, we learned that we have to leave the past in the past. You cannot go back and dig up old bones. And if you do, you already have learned that lesson. You already know what it's going to tell you. So you're just basically hurting yourself by regurgitating it, And I was like, whoa, that's true. That is what's happening to me. I'm just kind of re-injuring myself and cutting my own wounds open again, When
you end up injuring your partner with them too.
Yes.
Like if you imagine the ritual of, all these pains you carry, these burdens you carry, this trauma you went through, all the things are, big stones in your backpack, whatever, as you're, it's heavy, you're carrying them through life. And each one you take time to heal, release, and let go, leave it behind. Now you're so many miles down the road, and you've met a cool person that you want to start developing a partnership with, right? Well, if they hike back 3 miles, pick up that stone you just spent a lot of time healing from and releasing, and bring it back to you and throw it at you, that hurts. And it's annoying as hell because you spent a lot of time and energy trying to heal it, right?
Hey, I'm a good rock thrower. What can I say? No, honestly.
We all do it. It's not just right? That's an analogy of what can happen, right? And also, the first part of that is that you took the time to unload your backpack.
Right.
Take out one thing at a time, process it, release it, let it go. You don't need to carry it with you any longer.
Right.
And you keep it dead and buried in the past. You
Right.
don't go hike back and get it, my pretty little rock pet. No.
Right.
It
no.
goes
Well,
off the cliff and stays there into the abyss. You don't, don't bring it back.
Yeah, I took that concept a step further, and I tried to think of a graveyard, right? Because a graveyard has like a stone that says this person lies here, right? And this person lived for this long or whatnot. Okay, and so there are going to be times when you're trying to get into relationship with someone that they have a graveyard. These are all of the past boyfriends that they've been through, all the past girlfriends that I've been through, or exes even, right? These could be ex-wives or ex-husbands, right? So there is a graveyard. And so I tried to take that a step further and say, okay, you know what? That is true. If I go and I start digging up the bones of this old person, like, that's gross. Like, I need to get the heck out of there. And I need to recognize that being a grave digger is not doing any good for myself. In fact, it's kind of disgusting, and we wouldn't go digging through old bones anytime, but yet we do it with our relationships all the time. And so my invitation to you, and this is just because this is probably added to my happiness, I would say by at least 75%. And that's a lot. When you think of it, overall, this adds to your happiness in your relationship by at least 75%. Leave those stones where they lie and move away from them and build the life with your partner that you dream of. And if you'll spend all that energy building with your partner, loving her the way she needs to be loved, loving him the way he needs to be loved, and you guys are communicating about your dreams, what it is that your hopes and dreams are, then your energy all of a sudden changes to this very positive energy, and it's not going past hunting anymore. It's not doing it.
And if you're not in relationship at this time, your job is to do that for yourself, right? All those things you just said, you do them for yourself.
That will build confidence right there.
Yeah. And imagine, you can imagine another analogy or visual, if you will. Like, imagine all those things from your past are manifesting as big old boils on your face. I can imagine you're not going to feel very confident or worthy every time you look in the mirror, right? But so one by one, let's unpack those. Let's address them. You know, it hurts to go back there, but let's get rid of them. Let's heal them. Let's release them so they're no longer there. And
releasing, that's a smart thing to do. And there's something that Kara's old doctor told her that stuck with me when she told me the story is leave them, thank them for the lesson that they taught you, right? So like, you can go ahead and go back to the gravestone one last time and say, hey, thank you for the lesson that you taught me.
I no longer need you.
I no longer need this, and I'm going to go ahead and
carry the pain.
I'm going to move my life forward.
I don't need to carry the anger.
And I'm no longer coming back here.
I don't need to carry the resentment.
Yes. And so
will always be a memory.
Beautiful. It's beautiful to do that.
But I don't need to carry it with me every day.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the lesson. I release you back to the earth, back to the universe.
Yep.
Transmute it. And now you're free of it. Your burden is lighter. Your face, your complexion, your energy is more clear. It's lighter. You're more buoyant. You already look better.
Yep.
Right? One by one. And some of these things are really big and hard. And you'll need some assistance from your counselor or therapist, or like Ty here, who's an amazing therapist and coach,
Thank you,
and you may need some deeper healing modalities, and that's what we're here for and what we help with. But, little by little, the more you can do that, the more lighter and happier and more beautiful you'll feel. And that starts with you in the mirror every day, and releasing those things. If it helps to do it with a pen. So one thing my sister taught me was cord cutting. So like all these things have energetic ties to us, and can do like a spiritual cord cutting, and that can be done in different ways. Like you can imagine a spiritual flaming sword from Archangel Michael, or from God himself, or whatever, from your higher self, a flaming spiritual sword, and you imagine that thing, and you whoosh, it's cut off from you, it's gone, release it. You can imagine, for me, I'm a writer, so I like to write things out, and writing has very scientific evidence, a lot of scientific evidence, that pen on paper writing can help you process things out of your mind and get through them. So I envisioned like a spiritual flaming pen, and I can write it all down. Any thought or feeling or emotion, just get it all out of there, and release it.
Mm-hmm.
Then use your flaming fiery pen to rewrite your story. This is who I am.
Yeah.
This is who I've always been. I've always been worthy. I've always been beautiful. I've always been more than enough. I've always been strong. I've always been a man of sound character. I've always had integrity. I've always had good vision for myself. I am worthy of these dreams I have. I am worthy of an amazing relationship. And this is what I want it to look like. Just keep writing. Rewrite your story.
And that's cool because you can write in so many different ways, whether you're using music to write, or you're using lyrics, you might be using melodies, you might be using drawings, artworks, sketches. However you put the pen to the paper is up to you, and whatever works for you is something that is within you already. It's in your character. It's just you bringing out you allowing the you that's in here to come out, and not have to be afraid to let that you come out again.
Yeah. Fall
it's
in
built.
love with yourself again.
Sure.
Remember, you're your own muse. You're falling in love with all these amazing things you're putting on paper. Your dreams are coming forward again. Your intuition and heart will flow through that pen again. And this helps you get out of that trauma lens, like Ty was talking about. We often take on a trauma identity and live life and take actions and make choices from our trauma identity. As we start healing and releasing and using our creative flow, whether it's pen, paper, music, art, dance, whatever it is, to express that, release the pain, release the trauma, and rewrite your story and express and create, you're now getting out of that trauma identity and out of that trauma lens. Those trauma glasses are off, and your highest self is coming through, and you can now see the world and make decisions and create your life every day through the lens of your highest self, the person you truly are and always have been, right? Trauma is something that happened to you. It is not who you are. And this is when you start to feel so much beautiful energy coming through, and creation and ideas, and suddenly you are back to yourself again. You start remembering, and you like, heck yes, I am worthy of this. And suddenly your countenance has changed. You have energy. You're glowing. You are beautiful, right? You always have been.
Yep.
And now you start living from empowerment, not, what other
Drama.
word is there? Drama or trauma.
Yeah. Usually, it's funny because, when you think of the word drama, there usually is, a lot of chaos going on in a dramatic situation, whether you think of a big fight that you've been in, or something that you've experienced other people or witnessed other people going through some drama. You're like, whoa, table number 10's got some crazy things going on over there, right? And you kind of notice that drama, and you're like, man, I'm so glad I'm not part of that, right? But there has been times in your life, I do know that you've been in table number 10, where you're like, oh crap, I'm the one in this right now. and it's
Like,
embarrassing and it's not fun and I don't like the way this
sometimes
feels.
we're the ones leading the show in,
Yeah.
in the trauma drama.
Yeah, sure. Sometimes we're the ones that
We're the instigators.
Sure.
Even if we're fighting for justice,
Yeah.
sometimes it's in the realm of drama.
So I think taking the time to recognize that what you don't like, what you're not wanting in your life anymore, and then setting those boundaries with the people in your life that you need to, and even if that boundary means, hey man, I got to say goodbye to you, and I'm sorry that this is the case, but my boundary is my boundary, and if it's not upheld, I have enough self-confidence in myself that I will stand up for myself, and that may even mean I need to leave you, right. And I know that's so hard, and maybe some of you are like, well, this is bullcrap. I don't want to leave my partner. Okay, well, I get it. If you want to stay in your suffering, that's okay. But if your partner's unwilling to change and keeps you in suffering, even after you've communicated your needs and communicated what you need, then you deserve better. Yep. You deserve better. So I'm
self-respect and self-honor too, and just keep the bigger perspective. We're all on this earth to grow and evolve and learn, and sometimes we do just simply outgrow people. And so at that point, the only option to keep the relationship peaceful is to shrink yourself. And that's not an option.
Well, talk about that's the ultimate confidence killer.
Yeah.
To have to shrink yourself
100%.
To stay in this relationship. So your partner, that's the opposite of what I'd ever want for Kara. I'd want her to reach the stars, man. Reach as far as she could reach, right? Give her as much air under those wings as I possibly can. And that's something that I've felt from her too. She wants me to reach the stars. She wants me to go for the dream, right? And then together we want to build the dream. We're heading towards it right now, which is so exciting, by the way. Like, it's so fun because we've actually accomplished some dreams already and have been able to create new ones. And that's where confidence comes in, is when you have a dream and then you achieve that dream. And then you're like, holy crap, that felt really good. And you create another dream and you're heading towards it. And you now have confidence because you have met a couple of these other smaller dreams that have now, led to something very beautiful, like being married to my wife. In Barbados, that was the biggest dream I could ever had come true. Here we are, it's on a beach, it's beautiful, and my beautiful bride comes walking towards me. Like, I can tell you, there's nothing in this planet that could give me more confidence than to see that, that here's this beautiful woman in white who loves me, that is ready to commit wholeheartedly to me, not only for this life, but forever, right?
Yeah.
And
not
that feels
just
good.
Because he's a good man, but because he's, the ultimate man for me. Like, and every piece of him is what I love. Like, I love the good, I love the bad, I love everything. I love him unconditionally for who he is, and he gets to be his fully authentic self.
And so she.
Right. And,
right?
Yeah, and so
she
do
gets
I.
to be her authentic self too.
That's what real love is and does. And one of the biggest wins for helping your self-confidence may just be every time you honor a simple boundary. Right now you're practicing getting yourself back, getting your simple, tiny little boundaries back, right? Saying no, saying yes. Every time you dishonor yourself to please somebody, you're not going to feel confident. When you start standing up for yourself and saying, that's not for me. No, thank you. Whatever. Every time you do those tiny little things, you're building confidence back into yourself. So, it's just,
now's
This is the cool thing.
right. I'd say now's the time. If you've been waiting, if you've been figuring, this is what's cool about listening to podcasts is I've learned a lot from some of the other podcasters out there that I'm very grateful that I've learned, because you grow up and you listen to your parents who, were supposed to be, all knowledge, right? But then
They may
you
or
realize,
may not have been prepared for.
but then you go to school, you go to like school and college and stuff, and you learn some more open-minded things that help you kind of open up your mind, which is awesome. When I went to college, it totally opened up my mind. I started seeing things from, opposing viewpoints, and it was awesome. It was very cool. But then, as I met Kara, she's, really was into listening to a lot of podcasters and trying to gather even more information about soul, about life, about success, what defines success, all those things. And it's so cool to kind of hear some of these podcasters, talk about the soul and what true success is with your soul, and it's like coming home and understanding that, man, it's already built in here. We just had to find it. We had to go ahead and feel safe enough to let it out. And that's something that I'm excited about. Like, I've been kind of afraid to share my music with the world, like, I don't know. I'm always like, man, I don't know if it's any good. I might think it sounds decent, but somebody else might think it sucks, and so I got that worried mentality about the people around me or what they might think of it, but I've learned that that's not being true to myself. Being true to myself is to share it, whether people like it or not. And share what my voice is, share what my art is.
And keep creating it.
And keep creating
You're
it,
here
even
to
if
do that.
there might be a lot of people that don't like it. There might be a lot of people that do like it. But my goal now is I'm just going to share it because that's what I want to do.
Joy of doing it.
For the joy of it, right? And it's been beautiful. It's been something that she's encouraged, which I'm grateful she encourages it. And she's also amazing author, and she's writing this book right now on Hades and Persephone, and it's got a complete different spin on Greek mythology, and I'm so excited for all of you guys to hear this. I've just had the privilege of getting to hear some of it, but she's not quite finished with this thing. But I can tell you, when she is finished with this thing, you're gonna want to read it. It's beautiful. It's a totally new spin on gods, and I love the title, Uncommon Gods. It's such a beautiful story of Hades and Persephone. So, it's very legit. Like, it's very cool confidence builder when it comes to couples and relationships, and that there is sacredness out there. Yeah. There is true partnership, true respect for one another. That's out there, and she ties this stuff in very well in this book. So I'm so excited for her to release it. I'm not sure exactly when that'll be released.
Well,
but
I gotta write it first.
Yeah,
Love.
she's about what she's getting there. She's writing through this thing. She's got a full outline that's freaking.
Appreciate your enthusiasm.
It's absolutely amazing.
Few chapters to go here.
Yeah.
Only on chapter 4. So.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I don't know. She's probably got 20 chapters. I don't know what's going to go into this thing. But either way, I'm just proud. I'm proud of her. She is sharing her talents. Even this, this is Kara. Her drive is she really does care about people. She cares about she's like, Ty, we got to do a podcast. And she's always thinking of you guys, whether you know her or not. I hope you can feel that energy from her. She truly does care about people in general. And if you ever met her face to face, you would know that she's got this aura about her that immediately would heal you just to be around her, So, so yeah, that's why I'm very excited to do these podcasts with her. I've felt the healing energy, and I'm married to her. I'm grateful for that. And so I think her intention for everybody out there is just for you guys to really, truly find happiness within yourself and find happiness in your partnerships and building this confidence that she's talking about today. That's a big deal. Knowing yourself, finding it back in here, not listening to all the other voices, but finding it within here, meditating until it comes out, right? And who you are. That's going to be a big deal, and you'll be confident. And so, yeah.
All right. Well, let's recap. So how are you going to feel confident? First, you're going to start focusing on yourself, and that's not selfish, right? You're going to take time for you. You're going to give yourself the love, energy, attention, pampering, nurture that you deserve.
Self-care.
You're going to take yourself out on a date. You're going to go do the things you love to do that you never have allowed yourself to do in years. You're going to start being the most important person in your life, because how can you show up for another if you're not showing up for yourself? So first,
Amen.
Starts with you being your own muse and loving yourself. Then you're going to make sure you do the healing work. We all have things from the past. We've all experienced traumas. We need to start doing the work to release and let those go. We don't need to carry such heavy burdens. We don't need to have these things weighing down our countenance and affecting our confidence and making us feel unworthy and not attractive and not just in that downward spiral. Start doing the healing work. And if you need support in that, we would love to help support you in that. And then remember your cord cutting or your releasing ceremonies.
So important.
If you want to go to a river near yourself and get a rock and pour everything into that rock and throw it in the river to release it, do that. If you want to imagine a flaming sword and you're just going to do that. Freaking go to town. If you want a flaming pen, I love that one the most because of all the scientific and neuroscience backed behind it. You write it all down, release it. You can even do like a pretend letter to somebody that you don't send it. You just write it all down, tell them how you feel, whatever you want to say, and now release it. Burn it, cut it up, throw it in the toilet, whatever you want to do with it. Shit on it and then flush it. I don't give a shit. Do something. Get rid of that thing. Good riddance, right?
Right.
But the most important second step to that is rewriting your story.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want? Who are you at your core? Remember who you are. Remember how worthy you are. And believe it. Own it. Yeah. Yes, I am worthy.
What are your dreams?
Yes, I am beautiful. Yes, I am handsome. Yes, I am strong. Yes, I am smart. Yes, I am all these things, right? Yeah. They may have tried to convince me otherwise, but they were just, worms. I'm a, evolved person.
Yeah, and
whatever those worms were saying is not true. Rewrite that story. Empower yourself again.
Yeah.
Create the vision for yourself. Live your dream. Remember your dreams, and then start working towards them again.
Yep, live them. I love what she says. Live the dreams, right? Like, if you want that vacation, you start. Let's do it, right? If there's a house Kara and I want. We're working towards that sucker, and we're gonna keep working until it happens, right? And that's what's so fun is that there's dreams. I know I can accomplish that dream with her. Like, I know it because we've already accomplished all these, smaller dreams and some huge dreams. And now we're at a point where I have full confidence that her and I, with our energy and passion, we're going to get there, and we're going to get to that home that we've totally been wanting for a long time,
Yeah.
And so that's what's so exciting is as we recap here, dreaming is part of your confidence, and you realizing those dreams will boost that confidence. Every time you achieve one, you're like, oh my gosh, I did it. I did that. We did that. We did that. It
starts with the smallest ones, which is saying, no, that's not for me.
Yes.
That is a win towards your dream.
Yeah. That's you being you.
Every day, start creating again. whatever it is you do. I don't know if you create memes, maybe you create taxidermy, maybe you are a poet, a writer, an artist, a dancer, a chef, cook a meal, whatever you do, just do something to create every day from your soul and the essence of who you are. That brings you joy. That brings you confidence. That helps you release and get above all that stagnant lower energy that you've been carrying around for so many years. It builds your confidence. It builds your joy. So be in creator mode.
Absolutely. And remember the key concept of what's in the graveyard stays in the graveyard, right?
Amen.
Like, don't dig up the old bones, because that's just going to drag you back down, right?
Yep.
So anytime you have this trauma going on, it's time to say, thank you, trauma. Thank you for the lessons that you taught me, but I no longer, you don't serve me anymore. I'm going to go ahead and move forward, moving my life forward, right? And so if you can just say that simple comment, thank you for the lessons you've taught me, but I'm moving on, moving my life forward, right? Every time a trauma reminder pops up, thank you for the lessons you taught me, but I'm moving my life forward.
Yeah.
And if you keep working at that over and over again, along with what she's talking about, with all of the summarized confidence building items that we've just discussed, leaving the graveyard where it is and move on,
Amen.
And so, we thank you.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us today, Cave 623. And if you want to see our content, you can look at cave623.com. We're really, really excited. We got a lot of books coming out, and we have one that's just about ready to fly, and we're super excited about it. And please leave any comments that you'd like to leave if any of this resonates with you, as well as if there are some things that maybe you're struggling with that you would like us to speak on. We do research. We try to figure things out. We would be happy to do research on that behalf.
Tyson is a licensed clinical mental health counselor. He walks clients through these things every day. He has a wealth of wisdom and experience behind him. So,
thank you, love.
And he is super good at what he does. He has like a wait list for months in his clinical practice because people don't want to stop seeing him. He's so
kind.
amazing. So he's very good. And like he said, we do in-depth research so we can not just teach you the normal tools that you will learn in counseling, but we go in deep with it, so we can really get you to where you want to be. So
absolutely.
Yeah, leave it if you're following us or if you're watching this on YouTube. Make a comment what you want us to talk about on next, and make sure you subscribe. If you're on the podcast, follow it, share it with as many people as you can.
It really does help the YouTube algorithm out to get us in front of more people, and so we would really appreciate that. And thank you so much. Send it to
somebody you love who is struggling with their self-confidence and self-worth right now.
Sure. All right.
Right. We'll see you guys next time.
Free yourself from what's on your mind. Free yourself from the souls that bind. See a life of peace and rest. Remove that weight from off your chest. Be the soul you were meant to be. Be the soul who dares to dream of the things in life that are hard to find. Awaken now, don't choose to stay blind. Live this life with a heart of love, filled with solace from above. Amen, can you hear them sing? Amen, let them in. Live this life with a heart of love, filled with solace from above. Amen, can you hear them call? Amen, evil will fall. Free yourself from infliction. Free yourself from your addiction. Listen well to your spirit team. through. Live this life with a heart